Hello, this is Professor Brown-Sederberg, and I'd like to present a short demonstration of the use of a while loop to validate user input. Here you'll see I have the beginning of a short program. It's named DemoTrappingWithAWhileLoop. You'll note that I have a variable of type scanner called keyboard, a variable type int called user input. And in this program I have asked the user to enter an int from 1 to 100 inclusive. Using the instance keyboard of the class scanner to call nextInt, we gather what's entered by the user and store it into this space user input, a variable of type int. Now, this program asks the user to enter an int from 1 to 100 inclusive. I would like to be sure that the value entered by the user is indeed between 1 and 100. What I'm going to do is I'm going to trap the user to repeatedly ask the user to enter in a number between 1 and 100 if the number that they enter is not between 1 and 100. Now, there are several ways I can do this. One way is with a simple while loop. So I'll have my while loop here, and we'll have a condition. My while loop will begin here and end here. Now, as I said, what I want to do is just repeatedly ask the user to enter in an int between 1 and 100. And I'll repeat that request as long as what they've given me is not between 1 and 100. So the body of my while loop will look much like this request. And so I'll copy and paste in, but perhaps I'll be a little bit more insistent. And so I'll tell them, as I ask them, please enter an int, I will say must be from 1 to 100 inclusive. So here I'm simply asking once again, grabbing, storing. Now I'm only going to enter this while loop if what they gave me is not valid, that it is not between 1 and 100. So I'll examine the input here in my condition. And my condition is it true that the number they gave me is not valid? So the way I'll ask that is I'll say, is it true that the user input is less than 1, or it is true that the user input is greater than 100? That's one way I can ask it. So I'm saying, is it outside the range that I desire? That is it less than 1? Is it greater than 100? And I'm using an OR here. Now you might say, why aren't I using an AND? Well, it's impossible for a number to be less than 1 and greater than 100. No such number exists. We're looking for a number that is outside a range, 1 to 100. So is it less than 1, or is it greater than 100? If this evaluates to true, it means the number is outside the range we're looking for. And if this evaluates to true, we'll go into this loop and ask again that the user enter in a number. We'll gather it, we'll store it, we come back up to the top of the while loop. Let's see if we can compile this. We have a clean compile. Let's run it. Now as I run it, I'm asked, as I have here, this line, please enter an int from 1 to 100. Let me give an invalid number. I'll enter in 101. Notice now I'm asked once again to enter a number between 1 and 100, but this is the question, the request, that's inside our while loop. I'm more insistent. I'll enter in again invalid, an invalid number, and I'm trapped. I'm asked once again. Let me give another invalid number. I'm trapped still. Now I'll enter in a valid number, and we see I'm out of the while loop. My program has ended, as I expected it to. There's no code after my while loop. Now, what we've done is we've trapped the user using a while loop. My logic here, my question, my Boolean logic is the user input less than 1, or is it greater than 100 outside my limits. And I've tested with a number of numbers. I might run this one more time to test my program at the limits. So I'll enter in 1, and clearly it's a valid number. I'll run again, enter in 100, clearly a valid number. So I've tested at the limits. My test of this program has tested numbers that were invalid, numbers that were valid, numbers that were right at the limit. I'm quite sure that this is a correct program. What we want to take away from this is I have used a while loop to trap a user until they give me valid input. I ask, I gather, I come up, and I test again. Thank you.